there, I'm Amy Jean and I'm absolutely thrilled to be partnering with David Jones this year for their annual Beauty Awards. I'm an eyebrow fanatic, apparently an expert, so I've been asked to talk about all things brows, and let me tell you, I'm super excited because I live and breathe the art of an eyebrow. Now, first and foremost, I have to confess I have nothing in my eyebrows at the moment, and the reason I did this, which I would not ordinarily do this in public, but I wanted you to see that every eyebrow needs some time invested in them. Good brows don't happen by chance. You have to spend a bit of time on them either daily, or if you're going to go down the path of semi-permanent definition, whether it be microblading or a powder brow tattoo technique. There really is so many options for so many different types of brows. Before we move on to some hot eyebrow tips, I just want to draw some attention to my very own brows that are completely in their natural state today. So as you can see, they are particularly ordinary, and that's because I've got absolutely nothing in them, but there is a product for everyone. But what I'm trying to draw attention to here is the fact that great brows don't happen by chance. You have to invest some time and love in them. So whether that be applying some product in the morning or tweezing a few hairs out for the shape, or perhaps you're more of a semi-permanent tattoo type. But either way, you have to invest some time and love for the perfect brow. So I get asked quite frequently how to shape the best brow from home, and let me tell you, it is all about your workstation. Now, first and foremost, the best time to tweeze the brows or shape them is once you've hopped out of the shower. The steam from the shower will help to open the pores, and the hairs will tweeze out far easier than any other time of the day. So that's a good tip. And next, well, actually the most important tip is lighting. You need as much natural light streaming over evenly across the entire face. So don't sit next to a window and have it all streaming in on one side of the face, because chances are the other side is in the dark. You won't be shaping them symmetrically and you may miss some hairs on the darker side. So preferably forward facing into as much natural light. If not, a makeup ring light is also fine. So I think it's really important that we talk about how to avoid a brow mishap when we're shaping our brows from home. And what's interesting is most people just grab the tweezers and start tweezing away the regrowth. We need to do this in reverse. We need to be filling in our brows and mapping out the shape quite strategically, and then tweezing the brows afterwards, the hairs that are surrounding that shape. Let me show you. So I've just finished filling in my right eyebrow with my Luxe Brow Polish. Now this product is kind of like a pencil melted down into a pot, and I use my very own brow defining brush, which is called the Amy Jean Brow Defining Brush, oddly enough. So I'm going to show you now how I fill in my left brow. So I'm dipping into the product, making sure the consistency is right on the back of my hand before I just go throwing it through the brow. Always start along the very base of the brow, never through the middle and the top. Always start on the bottom, and you're stretching out and elongating more of a kind of straighter line. Don't go too archy. So imagine that you're drawing a straighter line out towards the temples. Then come up to the middle of the brow, which is where the spine is. Now, once we've done the base and the middle of the brow, we want to move on to the arch and tail. And this is the area that gives people the most anxiety. And I think it's because of the direction that they're holding the brush. So you need to change the direction to straight upward and outward, and really load up the arch and ensure you've got a good amount of product right there on the arch point. Then you want to tilt the brush again to a slightly more outward direction, and then give yourself a nice flick for a precision tail. Then to finish off, I like to just give a whole series of little baby flicks throughout the whole brow to diffuse the product so it doesn't look like a perfectly stenciled brow. I feel human again. I've got my brows back. So guys, what I really love about the Luxe Brow Polish, the product that I've just used here, you can use, for instance, say one application and get a very subtle result, or you can keep building color for a more dramatic result. It's a matte finish, so no gloss here. Unlike some pomades that are super intense and almost look like a cake eyeliner, this guy has a soft and fluffy matte finish. So now that I've designed my desired shape using my preferred product, we are ready to move on to tweezing the hairs that sit around this design, and that is far more of a safer option than just going in and tweezing. So I recommend you take a brow and lash comb and brush the hairs in a straight upward direction. It will help you to see which little hairs fall beneath this lovely line at the baseline of the brow. Now we'll move on to the tweezing. Now you're only as good as your tools, so you're going to have to invest in a great set of tweezers. I'm going to introduce my very own right now. These are called the dual-ended tweezer, reason being I've got a fine point on one end and a slant on the other. The fine point is great for getting in and latching onto that stubborn regrowth that's just starting to peer through, or locating a rogue flyaway hair and isolating it and removing just that single hair rather than taking a big chunk out. The slant is great for just that general regrowth that comes through. You might be tweezing every 5 to 7 days, and this guy is perfect for that. So you decide on the day which end you'd prefer to use. In terms of the most requested brow in our salons, we always get asked for a full and fluffy brow. Now that's great, but you may not have a lot of hair to work with, so we need to use a bit of wizardry, if you like, to make it look like there's more hair than what's really there. So our most preferred product is a 3D brow gel. Now if something is textured and has a bit of volume to it, it will sit forward from the skin and add volume. So this is our very own brow lacquer. Now how this works, it looks like a little mini mascara wand and it's richly pigmented. So you can comb this through the individual hairs. It sets the hairs in place for 24 hours. It's waterproof, but the rich pigment coats over the hairs, so you've got a continuity of color from start to finish, and it mats out any dazzlers or little grays. Yay! So when applying a 3D brow gel, you want to be sure to try and catch the very hairs themselves and not get too much on the skin. So if you're finding this tricky, bring the product backwards through the hairs and you'll immediately see it start to bulk up. See that? It's looking so much more textured and bushy than the other side. So it depends what look you're going for, but that's not quite up my alley. I like a little bit more of a dainty brow, but this is pretty on trend at the moment, this kind of wow brow. Now, never fear if you're not a producty person or you consider yourself to be a little bit artistically challenged. That is so fine, because specialists are here to help. We have so many semi-permanent alternatives for the brows. There's henna brows, there's microblading, there's mist brow tattooing. So look, the henna brows last anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, and we're staining the skin in henna powder. The microblading is like fine etchings of hair strokes, mimics hair strokes in the outer layers of the skin, and that lasts up to 12-ish months. And then we have a fabulous technique that's called mist brow tattooing that looks like an airbrush, almost like pixelated dots across the skin. It's like a fine wash of color, like a powdered brow, and that lasts up to 18 months. I do, however, want to stress that when you visit a brow salon, the brow artist has an ethical responsibility to educate you on what the best treatment is. Now, sometimes this isn't the case. They see you coming, you walk through the door saying, I need this and I need that, and they're basically signing you up for every single treatment. Just be careful. If you have oily skin, for instance, microblading is not suited to your skin type. So do your research, and if something doesn't feel right, then that's for a reason. Now, the lovely lasses at David Jones have asked me the golden question: how can I grow my brows back quickly? And the simple and short answer is, you can't. There's no miracle product that just makes them suddenly reappear. Otherwise, we'd all be marinating in it. But I do recommend that you put the tweezers down so that you're not tempted to keep at them. Let them grow out. There are some wonderfully nourishing products such as, or oils, such as almond oil or castor oil that you can rub into the brows to nurture the hairs. But I can't say too much, but I've got a very exciting product coming to David Jones online very soon, so stay tuned.